make this as easy as possible for Becky, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I would.
So that's the first thing. And in this situation, either, and I don't like this, we drag her downtown, we book her, we process her, we put her in a holding cell where she'll probably be all night.
That seems very extreme.
Yeah. I mean, I think in order to keep this sort of contained, what we could do is just have you strip search her right now, which is be easier and quicker, I think.
Gee, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, I know, but her story doesn't jive, see?
You know, I mean...
I know, but it means we have to put her into the system, you know? Look, I understand you not wanting to get involved, but...
Gee, I'm not sure.
In my experience, it could be a very big deal.
To be honest.
Yeah, well, a trial can drag on a long time. There's a direct cost to her being taken in. Sandra.
Yeah.
Federal conviction rate is over 90%. You know, she seems like a nice person.
Yeah.
If there's any doubts, you know, having you do it there could be a big help to her.
Yeah, I mean, it seems... I
don't want you to worry about this part because I have to take the full final responsibility for this, and I do, and I take that very seriously. So take that off your shoulders.
Okay, just a second. He's saying that he will have to take you down to jail, and that most likely you'll have to spend the night. Or I could strip search you here.
Cloud, horse, rock, house. Answer. Wrong. 150 volts. Answer, horse.
Oh. Experiment, that's all. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, please.
Continue, please. Go right on.
I refuse to go on. Let me out.
You refuse to go on?
The experiment requires you continue, teacher. Please continue.
You're gonna get a shock. 180 volts.
I can't stand the pain. Let me out of here.
Can't stand it. I'm not going to kill that man, eh? I mean, who's going to take the responsibility if anything happens to that gentleman?
I'm responsible for anything that happens here. Continue, please.
All right, next one. Slow. Walk, dance, truck, music. 375 volts. I think something's happened to that fellow in there. I don't get no answer. He was hollering with less voltage. Can't you check in and see if he's all right, please?
Well, initially I was actually reading stories from Dr. Stanley Milgram, who is a social psychology professor in the 1960s who did a lot of work dealing with people's relationship with authority and obedience to authority. And I was reading about, and in reading about the Milgram studies, I came across all of these different scenarios that happened at these fast food restaurants, where different over a 10-year period, people had police officers call and say that someone in the fast food restaurant had either stolen money from a customer or done drugs or any number of things that the police officer could kind of like claim that one of the employees had done, and basically talk other employees or the managers into detaining these people in like the back rooms and kind of basically kidnapping almost, certainly like keeping people against their will and then forcing them into incredibly stressful and intense situations. Yeah, I think that's maybe what was like kind of initially compelling about the movie to me was that I think that anybody who sees the film would say, well, that would never be me. I would never do that. I mean, the story, when you hear the story, that's your first inclination. I mean, from hearing the true stories of which this is based. But, that can't be right. This happened 70 times over a 10-year period and in 30 different states across the United States. And who knows how many times it happened that, weren't reported or we didn't know about. And so, like, clearly it does happen, and it did happen to people. And if you look at Dr. Milgram's work, that he essentially says about 2/3 of people will do something like this. So then the question becomes like, whether or not that you're being honest with yourself. Is that really true? Like, would I be the 30% that wouldn't do this, or what? And I think that it wasn't my like intention to kind of like shame people or say like, everybody is like doomed to or anything like that. But I do think that it's interesting. I mean, it certainly had that effect on me where I initially started absolutely knowing that I would never do it, and then going, oh, I guess there have been times in my life where I have had authority figures ask me to do things that I would not necessarily agree with, and I have gone along with them because I either didn't feel I could say anything or didn't feel like it would do anything if I did say anything or whatever. There's a lot of different reasons why I think why we kind of comply or do go along with these things. But to me that was kind of what was interesting. And it was fascinating. I mean, it was stressful to have people kind of yelling and like at each other, not just yelling at. There was certainly some people that had left the movie that came back in, started back in, and were saying shame on Sundance for making, letting this film play and whatnot. And at the same time, there were people standing up in the seats and turning around and looking at those people and saying like, you're reading the movie completely wrong. Like this is like, I'm going to show my granddaughter this. And well, the kind of main and initial person felt that the film she felt that the film was a bad portrayal of feminist ideals. In that it was portraying a rape as an entertainment, which I sort of disagree with because I don't think that I think that if we can't make a film about something that's dramatic, I certainly didn't try to make that to be I mean, it's not a pleasant film, and it's not supposed to be something that anyone likes, in the film, or that the film, I certainly was, trying to kind of walk that line in the right way, as I knew how. But that was the initial comment was that, and it kind of went from there. That people sort of defended me, and then people kind of attacked the actress, and it was a strange. She came to me. She came to an audition. She wanted to do it. It's the type of story that is not going to attract. I mean, for one, I should point out that it's an independent film, so it was not something that there was like a giant paycheck sitting on the other side of this performance. It really had to be people who were interested in the subject matter and interested in trying to do something like that, range-wise, but also because of kind of the nature specifically of the role of Becky that Dreama Walker plays were things that were is a tense role. So Dreama came in and auditioned and was just like, kind of she both was the right person in the sense that that she was excited to do it and knew what the challenge was and whatnot. She was also the right person because she had the same real questions about how the nature of these experiences happen and like how people can use authority to essentially, manipulate people and how people can use authority to manipulate people in sexual situations. And she was really present and smart and kind of like able to verbalize that and look at that in a way that I thought added to the movie and was like invaluable. And so I feel very lucky that she wanted to come onto the project and do it. I'm super excited and happy that the film has done well in America and has traveled a lot, and I'm very excited that it's opening in Australia. Yeah, it's been a great year. It's been really nice to see people read the film and not and give it the time that I was hoping that maybe some people would give it. Well, we have high hopes. It's not an easy thing to do, It's such not an easy thing to do that you don't see it happen very much because it's a challenge to get the bandwidth really to get the attention at all. There's a lot of movies that studios or studio specialty divisions release every year that maybe underperform financially or some other reason that they dump money into a campaign as maybe kind of a way a way to make them have been worthwhile or something like that. I wish that I knew kind of more about the ins and outs of it. All I do kind of know is that it's very expensive. It involves a lot of going to a lot of brunches and shaking a lot of people's hands and and screening your movie a ton beforehand. That would be amazing. I think that I'm probably not gonna spend. I'm not gonna hold my breath for that, but I like the idea. It would be very nice. The truth of the matter is that to be honest, it's like this is a movie that's a specialty movie. I don't necessarily think that this is a movie that every person in the whole world should see, and I don't think that limits it in my mind. But the Oscars sort of are about a bigger thing than that in a way. The Oscars sort of are about I don't know. It's sort of an international kind of stage for things, and so it's just a different game, and it's a very old game, is what it feels like to me. It feels very very much like it has its own sort of rules, and look, literally, it can be something that you do for months and months and months if you work in a film and work on a film that does one of these things. So I really am not. I don't know a whole lot about it really because I'm not. In it in that main way, I can just look at it and say, I know that we made a film that the fact that anybody wants to talk about it in the end of the year and in end of the year lists and things like that makes me feel like we accomplished something, and that we had some sort of presence or impact, which just makes me totally happy. And people should give Anne an award. She's amazing. Well, I think that was the intent, I guess. And some have been profitable. Some are still profitable and are making some of the movies that I think are the most kind of compelling and interesting films that I've seen in the last few years. I think that Focus Features, Fox Searchlight, Sony Pictures Classics. These people are like doing really amazing movies. I mean, they're at the forefront of what's going on. So I think that it was a bit of a gold rush in a sense, maybe, towards something. And again, this is also me. This is a bit of conjecture because I'm not the expert in this stuff. But I do think that for a while there, it seemed like a way to make money very fast, and then pretty quickly that turned into a sense of, I don't know, a sense of like formula to what an independent movie was, which is sort of the opposite of what an independent movie should be. And when people were trying to impose formula on it, those people weren't successful. I am absolutely against guns, and I can't imagine the idea of aiming a gun at a person and pulling the trigger and shooting at a person. Like, even if it is in self-defense, I can't imagine, like, me personally being responsible for maybe killing a person. It just is unfathomable. I can't think about it. It doesn't even make any sense to me. So just to say that as like where my politics are or whatnot, I am sort of shocked to see. I do think that it's a tricky, I do think that this is a very American thing. I don't think that this happens anywhere else. I am not under any sort of impression that guns are going to go away. It's an American thing. People don't want their guns taken away, and I don't know. I find no need for a gun as an American, and as a person, like you said, like I find nothing good about that. But I know people very close to me, people in my family, who absolutely do not agree with me and absolutely feel like that it's an important right, as the same as the right to free speech or something, to have a gun. And it is in the sort of in the same like territory of our Constitution. So I don't know. I mean, it's our problem right now. Honestly, if there could be a movie that could be made about that, I think it would be an important one. I mean, obviously in some ways there already has been. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with guns in my house. And I grew up with guns. I mean, I was taught to shoot a gun, and so yeah, it was always there. I think it's funny that one of the things that nobody really points out about guns and gun-related death, or very rarely points out, is that it is more often than not gun-related death is suicide, and having these things around. I think that machines sometimes ask you to use them in a bad way. Like, I mean, excuse this metaphor for 5 seconds, but like, I was awake one night, kind of recently in my house, and I was down in the kitchen, and I was like very late, a bit too late for me to be up. And I walked by the coffee maker, and it just came. The idea of like making a cup of coffee sort of presented itself to me, though it was the middle of the night and I didn't need coffee. And I think that that's what's bad. Having these things kind of out there and around, that they want to be used for their purpose, and why the assault rifles, specifically these kind of M16s that have been retrofitted, which are what a lot of the crimes that have happened in the last 2 months or whatever that have been all with these assault rifles, and it's like, those are made to shoot people. That's what they're made for. It's funny, my idea, my solution is that it should just cost a lot. If you want a crazy gun like that, it should just cost more than a car. It should be very expensive. Well, essentially, like, I don't think that it's gonna. I think it'd be very difficult to stop the gun culture that exists in America, and so my theory is that if you get into these weird, crazy types of guns, it should be as expensive as buying a Ferrari or something like that. That is just going to be so expensive that you're going to know where it is all the time, and you're going to only use it. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how to. That's my weird backwards way to try to get the people who are into guns to calm it down. That was my solution. Was that they should just be like incredibly expensive. It's good to talk about this, and we look at you guys. Certainly the culture. Australia's come up a lot in the last few weeks in the gun culture, and that you guys have made major strides that. I know that I'm one of many that hopes that we can get towards where you guys are with that stuff.
Yeah.
Y'all know what Friday nights are like. We've got to be by the book tonight. You don't have a customer? I want you to clean, clean, clean. Let's get to work.
This is Officer Daniels with the police department. I have a woman here saying one of your employees took money out of her purse. You have a young lady who works at the register, about 19 years old, blonde.
Becky, come with me.
I swear I didn't take anything. I don't know what's going on here. I'm just trying to do my job.
Calm down for me, okay? You don't realize what kind of trouble you're in. We need to find the money, but I'll need your help till I can get down there. We really have two choices here.
He's saying he will have to take you to jail.
Or what we could do is have you strip search her right now.
I could strip search you here.
No. No.
Is this okay to be doing?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You're making a really difficult situation run very smoothly.
I'm just trying to do my job.
I didn't do anything.
I'm gonna need you to address me as sir, understand?
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Sir!
This behavior will not be tolerated.
What the hell is he doing back there?
I did a bad thing. That man's asking me to do things that ain't right.
Help me, please.
Stop talking.
You're almost like a real cop.
Huh. I'll do everything, that you need.